In 1986, a diving instructor named Kihachiro Aratake was exploring the waters off the coast of Yonaguni, a small island at the southwestern tip of Japan. He wasn't looking for anything in particular. What he found would become one of the most contested archaeological discoveries of the 20th century. 26 meters beneath the surface of the Pacific Ocean, Aratake came across a structure. Not scattered rocks, not a natural reef. A structure with flat surfaces, right-angle corners, and terraces that stepped downward like stairs carved into stone. He came back. He brought others. Photographs were taken. Word spread. And almost immediately the debate began. A debate that nearly 4 decades later has still not been settled. Was the Yonaguni Monument built by human hands, or did the ocean itself create it? And if someone did build it, who were they? And when? The monument sits on the seafloor roughly 100 meters off the southern coast of Yonaguni Island in the East China Sea. It is large. The main structure stretches approximately 150 meters long, 40 meters wide, and 27 meters tall. To give you a sense of scale, it is roughly the height of a 9-story building lying on the seafloor. When divers began documenting it systematically in the late 1980s, they found features that were difficult to explain as purely random. There are flat, horizontal platforms. There are vertical walls. There are what appear to be staircases. Parallel steps cut at consistent angles. There are 2 upright stone pillars standing side by side. There is a section divers call the stage, a large, almost perfectly level platform. And there is what some researchers have named the turtle, a rounded formation that bears a striking resemblance to a carved animal figure. None of this proves the structure is artificial, but none of it makes it easy to dismiss either. Masaki Kimura, a marine geologist from the University of the Ryukyus in Japan, spent more than 15 years diving and studying the monument. He became its most prominent advocate for a human origin. His argument rested on several observations. First, the angles. The corners of the Yonaguni structure are consistently close to 90 degrees. Natural erosion and geological fracturing rarely produces right angles at this regularity or concentration. Second, what Kimura identified as tool marks. Grooves and channels that follow lines inconsistent with natural rock fracture patterns. Third, the staircases. Steps that are uniform in height and depth are extremely unusual in natural formations. At Yonaguni, some of the stepped sections maintain a consistent rise and run across several meters of rock. And then there is the cultural evidence. The Ryukyu Islands have their own ancient traditions, and some local legends speak of a sunken land called Nirai Kanai, described as a paradise beneath the Eastern Sea. Kimura believed the monument may have been connected to this tradition. His conclusion: the Yonaguni Monument was a man-made structure, most likely a ceremonial or administrative complex built by an unknown ancient civilization. Not everyone agreed. In fact, some of the world's leading geologists have argued the opposite. Robert Schoch, a geologist from Boston University, a researcher who is genuinely open to the idea of lost ancient civilizations, examined Yonaguni carefully and reached a different conclusion. The monument is most likely natural. His reasoning: Yonaguni is made of fine sandstone, a rock type that fractures along natural fault lines in predictable patterns. Sandstone commonly splits into flat planes and right angles. The stepped appearance, Schoch argued, could be produced entirely by wave action, tectonic activity, and the natural tendency of sandstone to cleave along its internal grain. He pointed to similar formations elsewhere in the world, natural sandstone structures that produce almost identical visual effects with no human involvement whatsoever. And he noted that what Kimura described as carvings and inscriptions were, in his view, natural scratches, not deliberate marks. There is one more problem for the man-made hypothesis. No tools have ever been found at the site, no pottery, no inscriptions that can be verified, no artifacts of any kind that would confirm human activity in a way the broader scientific community accepts. For a structure that Kimura estimates would have taken significant organized labor to build, the archaeological silence is difficult to explain. Here is where the debate becomes genuinely extraordinary, regardless of which side is correct. The Yonaguni Monument is submerged. It sits 26 meters beneath sea level. At the end of the last ice age, approximately 10,000 years ago, sea levels around the world were significantly lower than they are today. Much of what is now ocean was dry land. If the monument is man-made, it was built when it was above the surface, and for it to have been above the surface, it would have had to be constructed at least 10,000 years ago, possibly longer. 10,000 years ago, the accepted history of human civilization says we were living in small nomadic groups. We had not yet developed writing. We had not yet built cities. A structured complex of this scale, if it is artificial, would predate the pyramids of Egypt by more than 5,000 years. It would be among the oldest human constructions on Earth by a considerable margin. That is why this site matters beyond the specific question of whether it's natural or man-made. Because if it is artificial, it forces us to reconsider everything we think we know about when complex human society began. Mainstream archaeology has largely declined to take a firm position on Yonaguni. It is not officially recognized as an archaeological site by the Japanese government. Kimura's claims have been met with significant skepticism. And without verified artifacts, they remain outside the scientific consensus. But the site has not been seriously excavated either. Systematic underwater archaeology is expensive and technically demanding. The research that has been done has been conducted largely by a small number of dedicated individuals, not by well-funded institutional programs. The Yonaguni Monument still sits there 26 meters below the surface of the East China Sea. Divers still go down. Photographs are still taken. The debate continues between those who see the hand of nature in every angle and step and those who see the hand of something else entirely. Whether it is a natural formation, remarkable, unusual, shaped by geological chance over millions of years, or whether it is something built by human hands at a time when we believed no such thing was possible. The truth has not yet been found. What we do know is this: it exists, it is ancient, and the ocean has kept its secret for a very long time.